The Last Light by Pops. The Silent World. It had been months since the final battle of the Pool of Glass. The enchantment was broken and Voldemort's last whisper burnt into starlight. But the world did not heal. In fact, it worsened. The magical sky no longer shimmered above Hogwarts. The forbidden forest grew quiet. No centaurs, no unicorns, portkeys refused to work. Owls vanished mid-flight. Magic, it seemed, was dying. And the worst part? Gramps and Pops were gone. Not lost, just erased. No grave or no wand, not even a memory strong enough to cry over. But Reggie, Leo, Percy, and their mummy remembered something. Not faces or words, but a feeling, a pull, a voice in the corner of the thought whispering, there is still one more light. The Ministry called it the Withering. No spells worked past sundown, books began losing their words. Wizards forgot how to say their own names. Hogwarts became the last sanctuary, shielded by ancient wards, guarded by Mummy and the three boys, now men hardened by pain and burdened by legacy. They found something in the castle's deepest archives, the Ember Codex, a book written by founders before the founders. In it, one passage struck them all. When all things good fail, light the unforgiven flame. But beware, it burns what you've loved most. It was the only way to open the threshold beyond, a place between life, death and memory. Only from there could Gramps and Pops be brought back. Only from there could all evil be ended. To ignite the unforgiven flame, they needed three impossible things. A tear from someone who no longer exists. A memory buried before birth. A truth spoken by lie. Reggie sought the tear by revisiting old battles. He found it preserved in the ruins of the Whispering Ones. A single drop of grief still hovered in the air, crying for someone who was never born. Leo sought the memory deep in the Forbidden Forest, beneath the roots of the oldest tree. He uncovered a glowing stone with a heartbeat. When he touched it, he saw himself as a baby, but also Gramps watching over him in a dream, whispering, one day you'll finish what I couldn't. And Percy, a boy once designed to carry Voldemort's echo, but he'd choose the truth. A front of the last living seer. He stood and said, I was meant to become the dark, but I am the light. And the flame was born. The threshold beyond the door, it was a reflection in the sky. For one night only, the stars realigned, forming a mirror, and into it, the three brothers and Mummy cast the unforgiven flame. Light poured into every direction and their bodies stayed, but their souls crossed over. They stood in a world with no colour, a world where time didn't move, where every lost thought, every forgotten soul waited. And there, between a crumbling memory of Durmstrang and a flickering echo of the Battle of Hogwarts, stood two figures, Gramps and Pops. Gramps smiled, and Pops tilted his head and muttered, took you bloody long enough. But behind them something stared. It had no name, no form. It was all evil, leftover fragments from every curse and every betrayal, every drop of hatred never resolved. It had grown into the threshold fed by forgotten wars. And now it wanted to cross over into the real world where magic was weak and wizards afraid. The last battle would not be wands, it would not be fire, it would be memory. Gramps and Pop stood beside the boys and Mummy. They linked hands, and one by one they gave up parts of themselves. Gramps gave his cunning, Pops gave his strength, Mummy gave her foresight, Reggie gave his brilliance, Leo gave his bravery, and Percy gave his forgiveness. And with it they burnt the last evil with something it could never understand: selfless love. The threshold cracked and the colour returned. The world was reborn. Hogwarts flourished again. The sky sparkled and owls flew. Magic returned, and Gramps and Pops did not stay. They said their goodbyes at sunrise. "You don't need us anymore," Gramps said. "You're the legends now," Pops added with a wink. Then they walked into the light, together, whole and laughing. Mummy remained. She would guide the next generation. And the three brothers, scarred, wise, unbroken, stood at the top of the astronomy tower that night staring at the stars. They said nothing, but above them a constellation slowly shifted into the shape of two old wizards sitting on a cloud arguing over tea. The boys smiled, and behind them the future opened. The end. Good night, boys. Sleep tight.